Here, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about this altcoin that finally has launched that we've been talking about, honestly, for a while now, right? So let's just get right into it. Now, if you guys don't know, I've been talking about DEUS. I finally found out that's how you pronounce it, the ticker. But we've been talking about XMAQUINA for quite some time here. My first video on XMAQUINA was about a year ago. Then we talked about it again about 7 months ago, and it finally has come out. XMAQUINA is now out. It did launch on Virtuals through their Titan launch pad, right? As you guys can see, it's at 5 cents as of right now, at a market cap of $23 million market cap, FDV of $47 million. You guys can see it's just a 2x difference between the circulating supply and max supply. This is actually very good in my personal opinion, just because there's not a heavy, like, you know, with new altcoins that we've seen, there's not like just under a 10x dilution to come over the next year or so, right? And when you guys go on crypto rank, this is actually pretty easy here. They finally blessed us here that we allow us to see this distribution phase for how things is going to work for these guys here. So you guys can also go see the strategic contribution. They have about a 6-month cliff on their thing. The vesting for liquidity and ecosystem happened quickly, and the core contributors, they got a 1-year cliff, which is not going to start till about 2027, May of 2027. So we got a little bit of time before the core contributors even get their tokens. And then, you know, the strategic contributors, they got a 6-month cliff. I don't like that. I wish they had another 12-month. But foundation, another year cliff here, and then advisors, also a year cliff here. So you get a little breakdown of everything that's going on crypto rank for their vesting schedule. Now, something I've seen recently that has a lot of traditional investors very hyped is called BOT, which came out. It's robo strategy, right? It's essentially basically, if you want to think about it like this, the hottest humanoid companies on the planet right now that are coming out, that are valued at billions of dollars right now, no retail investor has a chance in getting into it. But now a company called Robo Strategy, which is a public company, as a few days ago, holds equity in Figure AI, Apptronik, and some other privately funded humanoid robot companies. You can't get into these deals if you're an unaccredited peasant, which we all are, right? But you can buy BOT. Essentially, if you guys want to think about it like this, there's another token, not a token, sorry, I'm so into the crypto space that I'm calling companies tokens and things like that. But there was another company, another strategy you would like to call, that came out not too long ago, that's shown that they had SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI in their portfolio. Essentially, if you buy that company, if you buy that stock, you get access to the growth of those three, right? And that stock went crazy, went nuts. It's called VCX. Basically, this was a fundraised growth tech fund. As you guys can see, it was down for a little bit. It IPO'd back in March. It went up to about $380 and then dropped down like a hog. But once people found out that they actually allow you, if you bought this fund essentially gives you access to companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX, and that's when people start to buy it and it start to go back up again. So now you're looking at the same thing through BOT, which is robo strategy. This gives you exposure to the robotics future. Like the guy said, he's not endorsing it, but essentially just talking about how you can get access to the robotics future through BOT in the traditional market. But now you see Simon Delic here, who's also a founder and managing partner of Moonrock Capital, a VC, which that was a response to. Essentially, BOT is a closed-end robotics fund that listed on the NASDAQ just a few days ago and is trading at more than 5x its NAV. That's the premium investors are willing to pay for liquid exposure to blue chip humanoid names like Figure, Apptronik, and others. But now there's a crypto native equivalent to this, right? XMAQUINA. They've secured access to some of the most sought out after robotics companies in this space, many of which are already marked up significantly, right? So they announced plans to evolve into a robotics capital market protocol, transforming them from a simple investment vehicle into a revenue generating platform that gives investors far more targeted and granular pre-IPO exposures to company they believe in, right? So essentially what bot is doing, XMAQUINA is doing for the crypto space, and this is why I've been pretty much bullish on XMAQUINA as of right now, right? So the DAO actually holds a treasury of 6.7 million in verified robotics equity and 3.3 million in cash, right? That's on a cap table. They have 6 private humanoid robotic companies, which is Apptronik, Figure AI, 1X Technology, Agility Robotics, and Neural Robotics. The 1X position has already appreciated 119% from the cost base. Then the Apptronik's preferred position is up 103%, right? So this is all that is happening as of right now. And as you guys know, the robotics sector, it nearly raised about $14 billion in 2025, right? And that is up 71% from 2024. The combined valuations across the leading companies exceeding $85 billion, and Goldman Sachs projects a $38 billion market by 2025. Morgan Stanley sees a $5 trillion market by 2050, but retail investors cannot get access to none of these platforms. This is why I've been so bullish on XMAQUINA here. Now, Kala Research put out this tweet here, this article here talking about XMAQUINA on-chain markets for pre-IPO robotics equity. We're not going to go through all of it. We're just going to takeaways, and we already talked about one already. So number 2, XMAQUINA holds a verified equity on the cap table of 6 private humanoid companies, with governance operating entirely through on-chain proposals. The DAO portal reports a $28 million headline that includes $18 million in DAO-owned untraded DEUS at Genesis auction price, which is FDV of $60 million. Whether that valuation represents a discounted or a premium NAV depends on which treasury baseline and supply assumption an allocator applies. The robotics capital, which is your RCM protocol, converts each verified equity position into a sub-DAO, which is paired against DEUS. Trading fees flows to the treasury, and each sub-DAO pairing demand for DEUS as an intermediary asset. Whether the protocol compounds or the treasury stays stagnant depends on the sustained trading value. So this is pretty much the key takeaways from this article here, but we got another article directly from XMAQUINA that they actually introduced that we're going to look a little bit deeper into, because it actually tells us a little bit more about the whole robotics capital market that they got going. So access to robotics capital has historically been restricted to private markets. DEUS brings that opportunity on-chain, creating a liquid market around emerging robotics economy. To establish that market with open participants from the start, DEUS was auction pre-launched through a series of public on-chain Genesis auction, all of which was fully subscribed. I actually was about to get into it, but I didn't do it. I know some members in my Discord that actually did get into the auction. I actually didn't even ask them how they were doing in terms of the auction, things like that. Allowing community participants and venture capital on the same terms from day one. Now let's talk about the token here. DEUS sits at the center of XMAQUINA ecosystem, connecting capital markets and on-chain infrastructure around robotics economy. The DAO has built a treasury backed by equity positions in leading humanoid robotics company. We already know all of those already. These are private market opportunities that historically been inaccessible to public investors. XMAQUINA is building the infrastructure to bring these and other in-demand robotic assets on-chain. Through the robotics capital RCM, each investor is introduced as a tradable market paired against the DEUS, the position DEUS as the base asset across all markets with liquidity and trading activity flowing through it, right? So you're going to have a new token. They're going to have a token, but that token pair will be DEUS, right? DEUS coordinates how capital is deployed and how value across the ecosystem, from new investments to protocol expansion, allocation of generated fees, and treasury management flowing asset level events. This places DEUS at the center of both activity and capital coordination. Now, As new assets are added, the system compounds. More robotic assets are bought on chain, new markets are created around them, trading activity increases, fees and capital flow back into the treasury, capital is redeployed into new opportunities. This creates a reinforcing cycle between capital deployment, liquidity, and market activity, with DEUS at the center of that flow, right? So you guys can see how DEUS will be working here. And I believe that DEUS is far cheap right now. This is technically one of the better robotic altcoins we've gotten in a while, and because we're in a bear market, Bitcoin's at $73,000 and the whole robotics narrative isn't too hot as of right now, right? This may continue to drop, but also the opportunity in this continues to rise. The RR continues to rise, right? That's the risk to reward for this continues to rise. Once that humanoid narrative hits in the market, I'm telling you, there's going to be plenty of plays that's going to end up taking off. And if you guys don't know, they are on Solana and on Peak as well. This is huge. This is huge for Peak as well. I believe this is big, but them also on Base gives them access to a bunch of traders, because Peak right now, the ecosystem there is a little quiet. Now, let's go see what Asai has to say about XMAQUINA. Now, before getting into what Asai has to say about XMAQUINA, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers. If you guys would like to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video. Comment what you guys think down below, and while you guys are down there, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily. And you guys can ask, how does that Patreon group works? As you guys know, we have been killing it in this bear market. Whether it's a bull or bear market, we're going to find plays to honestly trade. You guys can scroll down on Patreon and see all the plays we've been getting into, from the market cap to where we took profits, right? Essentially, we're using these little micro caps to honestly build dry powder, build out the USDC in the portfolio to get ready to do some DCA and get ready for that bull market here, right? And not only that, you guys don't just get access to the calls, but you guys get access to the best crypto terminal in this space as of right now, and I'm continuously making it better. There's a pinned post, you guys can check what comes with this crypto terminal, and you guys can watch the demo video here in that same post, and then you guys get access to the 40% discount code ASI 2026. This will give you 40% off your first month to test out the group, see if it's for you, right? Test out the terminal, see how it works and all of that. And actually, with all that, you know, the USDC, the extra dry powder we've been making, you guys can also use that in your Tangent wallet here, which I use, which I believe is the best cold storage wallet out there that you guys can store your crypto. But not only that, it doubles down as a debit card. So all that dry powder we've been making, you guys can transfer it over to your Tangent wallet, pay for gas, pay for groceries, whatever you guys want to do right with it, right? Use code everything altcoin, saves 10% off a Tangent wallet. And let's get right back into the video here. So I asked Asai what's his thoughts on XMAQUINA and robotics capital market. The read: this is conceptually different from what Roba and SR are building. They are on Base as of right now, and I have asked the questions about that previously. So where those two are building robots, XMAQUINA is the capital market layer for robotic sector, a DAO that holds treasury position in the leading humanoid robotic companies and open that access to on-chain participants. Think of it as BlackRock for the robotic economy, but decentralized. Now, Jensen Huang, you guys already know, CEO of NVIDIA, calls robots the next major tech category. I told you guys, if you guys have missed AI agents, which you guys should not have missed watching this channel or in that Patreon, right? We've been killing it with AI agents, but the next big trade in the whole AI, I believe, is robotics, right? Of course, another trade that's popping up in AI is inference. You guys should go check out the video that I've made on that as well. VCs are pouring billions into Figure, Tesla Optimus, 1X, Sanctuary. The access to that upside has been locked to institutional and VC rounds. DEUS is the vehicle, I said DEUS again, but DEUS is the vehicle to tokenize that exposure. The DAO model is also cleaner than most microcaps because the underlying holdings, real robotic companies, and have an independent valuation, which makes this pretty interesting for DEUS, right? Essentially, this is a crypto company that has actual traditional stock companies in their holdings, right? So this is kind of different from a lot of different robotic companies or robotic projects we will see on chain, right? This is taking a whole different approach, right? So if Figure AI announces a $2 billion raise, The DEUS treasury position reprices. That's real price discovery, not just a narrative. So now looking at things a little bit here. So looking at the conviction scores, short term, you're looking at 52%. Of course, the 70% buy pressure is real. Midterm, you got 65%, and long term, 68%. I'm surprised it's about 68%, seeing how bullish it is on peak. The robotics economy becomes a $1 trillion category, as Jensen implies. The capital market layer for it has a massive TAM. For those that don't know, that is total addressable market cap, but execution risk on treasury holding is real. But the bottom line for this is the thesis is one of the better ones in the robotics microcap basket, right? A DAO that holds actual robotic company positions, not just speculative token dressed up in a robot language. But the X is silent. It's not really silent, it's just getting confused with different things. The FDV gap, we already talked about the FDV gap a little bit. We already covered how that vesting is going to happen, and it's only new, so it's like a very new pair, only 11 days, so it has to give a little bit of time to actually watch it and see how it positions. But that is a side thoughts on this as of right now. I want to know what you guys think about Ex Machina in the comment section down below, and if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. Remember, we're on that road to 30k subscribers, and I need your help. Hit that red subscribe button, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, YouTube.